Right. Okay. And you touched on this just a bit earlier about game theory. And I actually really liked your, I mean, you've talked a lot about game theory in your previous books, and I'm just wondering, how does coordination with common knowledge kind of change the variables and the math, like the outcomes and saliencies in prisoners' dilemmas?
So Prisoner's Dilemma is not a coordination game because it
Right.
only has one equilibrium. So common knowledge doesn't really enter into it in the sense that there's a single, technically a Nash equilibrium, which is mutual defection. That is, what if they're in that unfortunate predicament, neither one has an incentive to get out of it. And it's the only one that they will end up in, given the rules of the game as stipulated. In a coordination dilemma, like a rendezvous, like Jean-Jacques Rousseau's parable of the stag hunt. You
Hmm.
imagine you put two hunters, they face a choice between cooperating to fell a stag, big meaty game, or they can individually hunt rabbits. They are incommunicado before they meet up, so they don't know what the other guy is going to do. If they both bring, say, heavy bows and arrows, that is, then they both win because they can divide a big meaty carcass. If they both bring slingshots, that's also a stable equilibrium. It's not as good as both bringing bow and arrow, but at least they come home with a rabbit. If the other guy brings a slingshot and you bring a bow and arrow, that's a situation you don't want to be in, or vice
Yeah.
versa, because then you come home empty-handed. In a prisoner's dilemma, the best option for you, I should say, is to defect when the other guy
Hmm.
cooperates. In a stag hunt, the best outcome is both of you to cooperate. So
Hmm.
that's why they're not the same game theoretic situation,
Right.
together with the fact that there are two equilibria in a stag hunt and only one in a prisoner's dilemma. So in a prisoner's dilemma, but not, sorry, in a stag hunt, not a prisoner's dilemma, common knowledge is crucial. The two hunters um, uh, get on the same page with a phone call. Okay, I'm planning to bring bow and arrow, so I will too. As long as there's no incentive to bring a slingshot when the other guy brings a bow and arrow, there's no question of trust or mistrust, of exploitation. Uh, it's in both their interests to cooperate.
Mhm.
Uh, in a prisoner's dilemma, communication buys you nothing. It's cheap talk because if you say, I'm going to cooperate, will you too? You still have an incentive to defect if the other guy says
Right.
cooperate. In a stag hunt, you have an incentive to cooperate if the other guy cooperates. The problem in a stag hunt is one of fear, anxiety that the other guy might defect, if only out of his fear that you might defect. Uh,
Right.
a stag hunt's also called an assurance game, where the dilemma is not trust. The dilemma is confidence or versus